Good morning, everyone. Today, I'm going to talk about UNCRPD, that is United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability. From the picture itself, it's clear that we are going to talk about rights. Guys, we are fourth semester DSW students, and we are happy to say that we will be done the program by the end of December, and we're going to be graduates. Me, myself, Anthony Jimmy. My group mates are Reshma Thomas, Betsy Stephen, and Linu Chako.
United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities is a human rights treaty adopted by United Nations General Assembly in December 2006. It can be defined as an international human rights convention that ensures and works to protect the right and fundamental freedoms of persons with disabilities. The UN has made an agreement called the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. It says that the people with disabilities should have the same rights as persons who do not have disabilities, and they should get their rights. Nearly every country in the world has signed the convention. That means these countries have agreed to try and make sure persons with disabilities in their countries get their rights. It is unique in the way that understands human rights from the social model and not the medical model. Medical model says disabled means less able. Social model says that it views disability in terms of barriers in the environment, not in people. It consists of two documents, the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, which comprises main human rights that is expressed as articles, and optional protocol to the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. The main purposes of the UNCRPD are promotion and protection of human rights, equality in enjoyment of all human rights, as well as fundamental freedom, promotion of respect for the inherent dignity of persons with disabilities. The CRPD makes many promises. Its 50 articles clearly explain what those promises are. People First Canada works very closely within 5 articles in the convention. They are Article 8 Awareness Raising, Article 12 Equal Recognition before the law, Article 19 Living independently and being included in the community, Article 24 Inclusive education, Article 27 Work and employment, and Article 19 Living independently and being included in the community is probably the highest priority for Canadians who have an intellectual disabilities. As I said above, there are 50 articles in UNCRPD. Article 1 Purpose of the Convention, and Article 2 says about the key definitions. From Article 3 to 9 it says about the general application. From Article 10 to 30 it talks about the substantive rights, and finally from Articles 41 to 50 it talks about the implementation and monitoring. Next, we are going to talk about the rights of people who have disabilities. Some of the rights are equality before law without discrimination, freedom from torture, right to life, liberty and security of the person, equal recognition before the law and legal capacity, freedom from exploitation, violence and abuse, right to participate in cultural life. And some other rights are the right to respect physical and mental integrity, freedom of expression and opinion, right to education, right to adequate standard of living, right to participate in political and public life, right to health and privacy, right to work, and respect for home and the family, right to live in the community, and freedom of movement and nationality.
Necessity of UNCRPD. Existing disability in world's population. The lack of response of existing human rights conventions towards people with disability. CRPD focuses on people helping people with disabilities to get their human rights instead of creating new rights. It is our responsibility to met all the rights for the people with disabilities as their population is increasing day by day. Some of you might think that why you guys need to know about all these things, but it is very important for DSW students to know about UNCRPD. That is because you guys are surely gonna go into your placement on the third and the fourth semester, and after that you guys gonna be working as DSWs. And it's very important for DSWs to know what are the rights of people with disabilities and how that need to work. Like, DSW students can easily recognize what are not met or included. If it happens, they can assist the people with disabilities by teaching their rights and helping them to report their concern to the appropriate organization they are in. Students will get a clear idea about the rights of people with disabilities, and students can advocate for people with disabilities regarding their rights.
We can contact the Arch Disability Law Center in Toronto to discuss about the rights of people with disabilities. And if you find any persons with disabilities are not meeting their rights, we can inform them and they will definitely provide a legal solution for that.
Everyone should have equal opportunities and equal access. Disabled people have the same rights to be included in the society as anyone else. They are to be respected for who they are. Women with disabilities. Countries agree that women and girls are disabled and treated unfairly in lots of different ways. Countries will work to make sure that disabled women and girls have full, free, and equal lives. When it comes to children with disabilities, countries agree that disabled children have the same rights as other children and are equal with others. What is best for a child will be the most important to think about. Countries agree that disabled children have to be heard in all things that can affect them in their lives. Support will be given to children to make sure this is happening.
What countries should do regarding UNCRPD? They make rules and laws to give the people with disabilities about their rights and changing any laws that are unfair. They make sure the rights of people with disabilities to be treated equally that are included in all policies. And these countries are not doing things that are against this agreement, and they make sure things are designed for everyone to use or that can be easily changed. As I said earlier in our presentation, People First Canada plays an important role in UNCRPD. It is a national organization representing people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. They are the national voice for people who have been labeled with an intellectual or developmental disability, and they are about rights that are human rights, citizenship rights, accommodation rights, and language rights. They believe in the right to freedom, choice, and equality for all. They see themselves as self-advocates and full citizens of our country, living equally in the community. And also, they see themselves as people first and as people who have taken back control of our lives from families, policymakers, and professionals such as support workers, doctors, social workers, and so on. People First Canada mainly prioritizes the right to live in community. It educates the society about this right and gives information about the different options that are available to support this right. It aimed to close institutions that mistreat and inappropriately accommodate those peoples with disabilities. They said that the people who have disabilities are accommodated in nursing homes, group homes, long-term care facilities, personal care homes, and so on. They should have the right to decide where to live and with who they live. They demanded that the funding should be based or linked to the disability supports required by a person. In addition to it, they are telling that accommodations should be determined by a person's decisions, interest, not based on any agency or certain groups. In addition, People First Canada demonstrates the difference between the housing needs and disability supports.
At last, United Nations Convention on Rights of People with Disabilities is made to change their lives to be a better one. Even though all these rights are in action, it is our responsibility to make sure nothing is going wrong for them and they are treated well. All the countries do need to come forward for betterment of people with disabilities. I hope you enjoyed the presentation, and if you got any feedback to inform us, we got our fanshare email address and you can send all your concerns or any doubts to our email address and we will clear it out. Thank you for hearing it out, and these are all the references we made, and if you got any doubts you can check into those and those things. Thank you.